Rhonda. Hey, back again. Back by popular demand.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Let's right off the back, the call and post, that's what you're most known for.
That's
Everybody
what I'm
always
most known for.
want to bring that up, but that's a big deal.
To some people.
No, I'm one of them some people. That's a big,
Explain what you known for.
yeah, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother theme. That's the love boat, all that going on, okay? All right, right now, we talking about an editorial columnist, journalist right here, one of the best. And she had her start with the Call and Post, and if you know anything about the Call and Post, that's a Don King publication. You know, the man. Now, how long have you been with the Call and Post, and are you still with them?
Well, I am no longer on payroll at the Call and Post, but I still work with them. I still contribute stories and help them out as much as I can. But I spent over a decade at the Call and Post.
Is that right?
Yes.
May we ask, why is it that you're not with them anymore, yet you're still contributing to them?
Well, I grew and evolved as a professional, and my time and the space there for me I had just outgrown it. So it was time for me to move on. And when I started at the Call and Post, I always said that when I leave, I will work for myself. So I have been able to finally make that transition. So I had a great relationship with the Call and Post. I had a great run with the Call and Post. So I'm still able to work with them.
How did you know, or when did you know the time was right? The time, when did you get that feeling and say, hey, it's time for me to start, making that transition?
Several years ago, I was working with a business coach through a program called a Partnership for Minority Business Acceleration. And my business coach asked me, how long are you going to be there? And so I had to really stop and think about that.
Were you stumped right then when they
Yes,
asked you the
I
question?
was. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, because...
You was kind of like a deer in the headlights. Well, you're like, wait a minute, I really do need to ask
I need to
myself
think
this
about
question,
that.
right?
Yes. So I began to think about it, and we've had a number of changes over the years, and the time it was right.
So were you in agreement with those changes, or some of the changes you didn't agree with?
Some I did, some I didn't. But for
Like
me, it was
what
just
you
really.
didn't agree with?
Well, for me, it was really more so it was time for me to grow. I didn't see any more opportunity for growth for me.
Does that mean you wanted more creative freedom? Or?
No, because I got plenty of creative freedom. It's a small organization. It's a newspaper. Newspapers are struggling, nationwide. So it was just really a number of things that not even so much as with the Call and Post, but just with the newspaper industry in general.
How did Don King take it? You've been a big part of his success.
Well, he still calls upon me if he needs something, and I help out as much as I can. So I'm still very much a part of the Call and Post family. It was just really probably the best thing for me to come off payroll and be more independent and serve them as an independent as opposed to their employee.
Well, in that circumstance, you're no longer with him. And, Don came out and representative of Donald Trump. And he's probably catching a lot of criticism and flack behind it. Are you inclined to comment on that criticism? Like, how do you feel about those things now that you're not with them and under the umbrella anymore?
Well, anybody who knew Mr. King has known that, he's been a supporter of Republican Party for quite some time. This isn't the first Republican president that he supported. If you know anything about him, and then I also tell people it was no surprise because he's been writing about his support. He's been very open and very vocal about his support of Donald Trump.
Right, so you're a supporter of him. He supported you for so long.
He's entitled to support whoever he wants. It's a free
country. Have you ever came out with any writing in support of Don when people did come his way with with all kind of things? Have you ever came out in support in as far as your writing is concerned?
Never had to.
Or the Calling Post in defense of the Calling Post, period.
Never really had to.
Never
really had to.
Now let's go a little bit forward now, huh?
Yeah.
Now, because you're making this transition.
Yes.
And part of this big blossoming is you're big time author now.
I'm an author now.
Ah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got a book on Amazon. What's the name of the book?
The book is titled Riddles.
Now, Rhonda was formerly with the Calling Post. She's moved on to become a big-time author with her book right here, Riddles, which is a murder mystery. Okay, all right. What kind of picture did we have up here?
It went to the word.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay, all right. I feel, no wardrobe malfunction or, pocket, whatever call it, malfunctions, you know what I mean? Thank you, Ron. Now, Rhonda, a murder mystery. Hold on, Rhonda, wait a minute. They say sometimes in order to write something like that, you gotta be a criminal yourself or something like that. Are you a murderer?
Well, I ain't never murdered anybody.
You never, to your knowledge? Okay. I just had to ask that, We gotta know what we're working with, okay? All right, cool. So where did all this come from? Where does it come from?
Well, I always wanted to be a writer.
Okay.
I always wanted to write books and plays and movies. That was my passion.
It could have been roses are red, violets are blue.
Yes.
But instead is, okay.
So, this goes back to a dream when I was 19 years old. Just discovered that I had this ability to write, and I had this vision, and this dream to become an author one day. And it's been a long road, and as an author, you need a job along the way. So that's how I kind of ended up in journalism. And I love journalism. I had a great time at the Calling Post, but all along the way, my dream was to write a novel. So I started writing this novel, Riddles, back in 2007. I was in the midst of working at the paper, editing books for other authors, helping them get out. And I said, it's time for me to write my own, to write my story. And I wanted to stretch myself, to challenge myself, to see if I could write fiction. I knew I could write nonfiction. So it was a challenge to myself, and I took it on, and I wrote the story. Over the years, I tried to get it published. I shopped it around. I pushed it out in the universe. The universe pushed it back in my lap. So I had to go in. I've edited. I tweaked it. I've went through I don't know how many drafts, and then finally it was done. And all my friends were saying, girl, you didn't have this book forever.
When did you quite get it done? Like when? What year was?
Well, I had it copywritten in 2008, so the first draft. Really? Yes, the first draft.
Wait a minute, you started in 2007.
I've started in 2007. I finished the first draft in 2008.
Okay.
So since 2008, I've been rewriting, reshaping, shopping it around, getting rejections, getting some offers that was not necessarily suitable for me. So it just wasn't time. And this year, I just said that I'm gonna commit to getting it done and getting it out. And
well, what has, yeah, what has, well, when you were getting these rejections and you were shopping it around and the universe pushed it back into your lap, what kept you going? What kept you at it?
Because I knew I can do it.
Because
I knew I could do it.
You know you could do it.
I knew it was possible. I knew that it was just a matter of time. I knew that the only way that it wouldn't happen is if I quit. So I had to keep going.
Winners win. Winners win.
Now, were anybody over there at the Calling Post privy to your work? What you were working on?
My editor, Kevin Chill Hurd, many of you guys know him. He
Yeah.
read an early draft of it, gave me great feedback, and that was really a shot in the arm, because Kevin is a tough critic, And so when he read the book and, gave me his thumbs up, I'm like, okay, I'm on the roll now.
Yeah.
It was a murder mystery, and it was a really, really difficult story for me to write because I was not a reader or a fan of murder mysteries, but I know that people read them.
So
people
why
enjoy
a
'em.
murder mystery to begin with? You could come with, like I said, anything.
Well, murder mysteries sell. For one, people love murder mysteries. Two, when I was a student at Cleveland State studying creative writing, my senior seminar was in detective fiction. So after completing this course of studying all the classic detective stories and what detective fiction is about and just the history and nature of it, I said, I really want to write a detective story one day. And that's what I set out to do. So it was really difficult for me. I had a lot of help from editors locally here in Cleveland to as far away as LA.
Wow.
I probably had about 5 editors work on this story with me just to make sure that the story was tight.
Well, how did you have
flow.
confidence in them to want to send them your work and know it won't be compromised?
Well, you know who, when you're in the business, you know who to work with and who not. Yeah. People have, people's reputations precede them. So I've worked with some of the best.
Were
editors.
anybody like, Rhonda, murder? Rhonda, murder?
Well, they probably, not so much the murder, but the setting of the murder is
setting.
what gets the, yeah.
Okay, it's all kind of twists and
Yeah,
turns.
so
in
it's
it
a
like
murder in a strip club. It's a dead girl in the VIP room of this Atlanta gentleman's club. And, the story
Hold on,
opens.
did you have to do any infield work?
Of course.
Because you could have called me to assist you on that.
I should have sent you in.
Yeah, I would have went in like Carl Monday.
But see, now
know?
you got to read the book.
Okay, all right, okay, all right, yeah, that's dope, right? That's dope. So, okay, now your friend, you're sending it to a few of your editor friends. They're giving you positive feedback on it, and then you decided I'm gonna run with this.
Yes.
Now, is it? It's not easy or hard getting it published. What is it like?
The publishing world has changed so much. Years ago, it was a lot harder than it is today. But Amazon has really, really changed the game and made it very easy for independent authors to get their work out.
Does it matter that you got a name and you've been in the business for a while?
No.
It doesn't matter. Not one iota.
No.
Wow, didn't know that, huh? Would have thought, yeah, Rhonda, yeah. Rhonda, oh, you? Yeah, Rhonda, it's good, it's good. Yeah, it's like that, huh?
I mean, Amazon is this sea of authors. It's over, 10 million authors maybe on Amazon all around the world. So, I need the support. I need the support of my community, the support of readers.
Are you at privy to lean on your prior experiences, like lean on the Calling Post for a little help promoting the book?
Yeah, well, you know what? The Calling Post showed good love. They, the first week that the book was out on Amazon, they ran a story about it.
Is
My
that
coworker,
right?
Felicia Haney.
Wait, Felicia did?
Felicia, yeah.
Yup. See, because my question was about to be, did you ask them? Did you have to ask, or did they say, hey,
No,
girl,
I didn't
Felicia,
have to ask Felicia.
known.
Felicia called me up like, we gotta
Me
do
and
a story
Felicia
on
like
Riddles.
this.
Felicia's doing great.
Yeah, that's
You
awesome.
just
gathered the confidence in what you need to do, and you separated.
Yes.
Were you afraid?
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's a jump. It's a leap of faith. But you get to a point where sometimes you get to a point where you don't have anywhere else to go but jump.
Yeah, huh? You gotta have that confidence. Yeah, I've been there. I know what that's all about. It takes a lot to be an entrepreneur. You a self-proclaimed, what you call it?
The writerpreneur.
Writerpreneur.
Yeah.
Explain what you mean by that.
Well, when I really began to examine my life, I realized that I've always been an entrepreneur. I was that kid selling lemonade at the basketball court,
Somebody told me you was a handful too. For real. Yeah, because somebody asked me today who was coming on. Yeah, we know her from the hood. Yeah, she was something else coming on.
Well, you know, I mean, I grew up in the
No, they
I
were
grew up
proud
in
of
the
you.
area.
They were
Okay.
proud of you.
Right. Live right down the street.
Yeah, okay.
Right now.
Yeah, right.
Right now. Right down the street.
Right. Now go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, where was I?
No.
You interrupted. The writerpreneur. So I've always been an entrepreneur, and what my problem was, I never really realized what my business was. So early on, I was like, well, maybe I might open a bar, maybe I want to own a mall. I always knew that I wanted to be my own boss and run my own business. And it wasn't until after spending so many years at the Call and Post that I realized that my business was writing. That's the business that I'm in, and now that can extend, you know, to a number of different things. It allows me to do a number of different things because writers are just, you know, well-versed people. So I was like, okay, writing is my business, and I looked at it and I said, you know what, I'm a writerpreneur.
What's some of the products you've created from your writing? Like, what are some of the things you do? What are some of the things people can commission you or command you to do or pay you to do or patronize you to do?
Well, with my own business, Rhonda Crowder and Associates, which I officially incorporated. It's a communications firm. We're a content factory and communications firm.
Yeah.
So we provide content services, everything from writing to editing.
Hold up, just about any kind of content?
Anything.
Hey, Ron. Yeah, girl, yeah.
Well, I ain't writing no checks now.
No, hey, Ronda, you know, we having this sipping paint, you know what I'm saying? We having this, you know, raunchy, you know, event, you
Okay,
know.
what you need?
Can you come up with some content?
I can come up with some content. I came up with content for Riddles.
Yeah.
We can come up with content.
PR work?
Yes, we do. So we do content creation, we do graphic designs, fundraising, and media relations.
Is that right?
Yes.